Friday. It's Mark Pires.
I was walking down the road
And it's Renaissance Man.
I'm
here. Day 1,327 in a row of the Renaissance Man show. And we're going to get into it, just like we do every single night, every day now. I guess we're doing like double shows. That's because we need to give you an update. What's happening in the world, the real estate world. I'm a realtor during the day. We don't really do these shows at night because we're trying to divide the world from the negativity, bring them into a positivity platform where we create a ton of content. If you guys aren't aware, my new album comes out next week. That's 15th album. Yeah, about to go past one of my favorites, the Beatles. They have 183 songs, and that's what I've been tied with for about 6 months. They're all on Spotify. They're all free to listen to there, but head over to iTunes if you want to support me and pick up a copy. This new album is pretty much fire. Anyway, we're going to get into a couple of real estate stories today, a couple of basically just updates on the rates and what's happening out there, the consumer confidence level, etc. If you guys would like to be involved in this broadcast, this is a call-in show. Zoom is set up and ready to go. I already put the link up on YouTube, so head on over. Give me a subscribe while you're there. This is the longest running daily variety show on planet Earth. 1,327 days in a row, and we're just getting started, fam and friends. So spread the word. This is a community-based show. This is about us coming together. And the bigger we get, the better, because the world is dying, or at least they're attempting to kill it. So every night, we live in the light. And during the day, I'm a realtor. So today we're doing a real estate review. Joanne, can you do me a favor and pull up the first story of the day? Joanne, wake up back there. She sleeps in the freaking morning, you know? Everybody else sleeps at night. Joanne sleeps in the morning. Sorry, guys. She's like a night owl. All night she sits here and wheezes, you know? And then all of a sudden in the morning, she's sleeping. I'm here doing it, and she's trying to sleep. Joanne, we're doing a morning show today. You can't get your rest, your morning rest that you like to get. Anyway, how's everybody doing out there? We're going into a weekend. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Did you buy or sell recently? I want to hear from you guys. And I'm hoping to get a few phone calls. Last week we had one of my friends, a mortgage broker, on, Bill. And today maybe we'll get another. We'll see what happens. But I'm hoping to start turning this into a weekly conversation here. Different professionals in the business, whether you are a real estate attorney, if you're just a buyer or a seller, or somebody who is somehow tied into a market, a real estate market in some manner. Call in. The info is right on the screen. Anyway, so let's get into something here. I'm going to pull up a couple news stories as soon as we get through our woohoo. You know we need our woohoo. You know, actually, this is a morning real estate show, Joanne. You're sleeping back there anyway. Maybe we don't need a woohoo. She said you're crazy. Of course we need a woohoo. I'll drink my coffee while we're waiting for a woohoo.
something to die for, yeah, yeah, yeah. Something to live for, yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me something to die for, yeah, yeah, yeah. Something to live for.
Matt Zabrowski, I think we can use a morning woohoo right now. Lift us up on a Friday. Okay, I'm gonna give it out. I'm just sending it to you. Give us a nice woohoo to start the day. Sometimes you need it. I needed it. So, Joanne, pull up the first story of the day. I grabbed a couple of articles here, and we're going to run through them. Oh, God almighty, Joanne, you restarted the computer? You know, that's so Joanne. You know, and I'm here trying to do the news, and all the stories I pulled up, they're gone because of Joanne. Wheezy McGee. We're going to try this again, Joanne. We're going to try to see if we can open up all of our previous, tabs. But, of course, it's a process, something that Joanne could have done if she wasn't wheezing and sleeping at the same time. Here we go. Oh, I sort of got it, Joanne. I think we got it here. Yes. First story of the day. Are we doing it? We are. Here we go. I'm opening it up on the YouTube channel. Guys, remember, Zoom is there if you want to call in and you want to be a part of the program. Here we go. First story of the day, Joanne. What are they saying out there in the real estate market? Trish, how are you? So good to see you from the top. Guys, if you have not found us on YouTube yet, head over and subscribe. This is the longest running variety show on planet Earth. That's not even a freaking joke. Like, seriously. Joanne, why am I not on the screen? I was there, and then I'm not there, and then... Oh, thank you, Joanne, for doing your job. Why do I have to thank her for that, How's everybody doing over here on TikTok? I love you guys. Skip, Sweetie Marie from the top. I'm loving it. Cat Mama, Ham Shelby, Mr. Module, Scott Paulson, TikTok Mama, and Rebel It Up. You guys are friggin' awesome. I hope you guys will give me a follow, and please hit that screen. The more you hit that screen, the more people are going to come and join and get a real estate review. Sweetie Marie, I'm so glad you're with us. So I want to start doing more of this, where we get people on Zoom call on YouTube, talking it out. What's going on in your part of the country? I'm in the Northeast, okay? So there's a lot happening here. We live in a sort of like a bubble up here, and that's why I really want to hear from other parts of the country. I want to hear from other real estate agents. I want to hear from other mortgage brokers. I want to hear from other professionals. Even if you're not in real estate, I want to hear from you. What's happening? Consumer confidence in the locale that you are, okay? Because it's not necessarily like national. It's very hyper local. Every single town has its own market, its own freaking heartbeat. So we're going to get into that here. That's what this real estate review will be weekly. We're going to do a Friday real estate review every Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning, hopefully. So, and remember, we're live every single night forever at 10 p.m. 10:30. Tonight's Friday night cover night. Every single Friday night is cover night. So if you guys have any cover songs you want to hear, I invented the first drum for singer-songwriters. It's called the beat seat, and it sounds like a freaking drum kit. Literally, when I kick it, when I play my guitar. And my new album comes out next week. And tonight we'll be going between cover songs and dropping you these tracks that are going to be coming out next week on iTunes for my 15th album. But let's get into this real estate during the day. I'm a realtor by day, Renaissance man at night, nightly, for the last 1,327 days in a row. I haven't given up on this world. I hope you guys don't give up on me, because I'm going to show up again tomorrow. Here we go. Seller beware. U.S. home buyers are still backing out of deals at the highest rate since the start of the pandemic. Here's what that means for real estate. Now, again, we're talking about nationally. This is not speaking to local markets like the Northeast or, I don't know, places in California that are going to be kind of bulletproof for a little while longer. Let's get into this. As well-known inflation-proof asset, real estate has been highly sought after for most of the last 2 years, but things seem to be shifting. According to a new report from real estate brokerage Redfin, around 63,000 home purchase agreements in the U.S. fell through last month. That equates to 16.1% of all homes that went under contract in July. Pissed off Marine in the house. So good to see you. Funk, how are you? No. Funk, so I basically, my daily show has this background. So I was like, you know what, when I go live here, you can see behind me there's a green screen. So when I go live here on TikTok, if I don't put a background on and use the green screen option, all you see is my green screen, and people are always like, why do you have a green screen? So at least you guys see what my Renaissance Man backdrop is on YouTube every single night when I do the show. It's a New York City backdrop. This is basically Fallon's backdrop. Like I was looking for give me Jimmy Fallon's backdrop. I'm doing a freaking nightly talk show, variety show, comedy, live songwriting, and inspiring people to find the greatest version of themselves. Like, give me a freaking New York City backdrop. What are we doing? I'm only 45 minutes away from there. So really, if I was to take this, you'd see a nice green screen behind me. Yeah, I'm not even close to New York City yet. I mean, I'm 45 minutes away, so I'm close, but this is funny. My wife and I were talking the other day. I've been to the city once in the last year and a half, and it was to sell an apartment to a client in New York City. I don't go down to hang out. I don't go to the restaurants. It's dangerous. And I'm sorry if people are in the city and they love the city. The city used to be safe. It used to be safe. It is so dangerous. People are getting murdered and robbed on a daily. And if you look at someone the wrong way in New York City now, you're getting freaking popped in the side of the head. They're punching elderly people, doing this whole stupid punch game. It's a really scary New York City right now. So I don't go, and I'm only 45 minutes away. So I have a picture of it behind me. Yeah, I'm here in New York City for my freaking show where it's safe in my green screen basement. Woo! All right, let's get back into this over here. I'm so glad you're here, though, Funk. Thanks for kicking it with me. Yes, see, Sweetie Marie says this is so much better than the green screen. That was too boring. Yeah, it's some stupid green screen behind me. That's why I have it, so I can have an awesome backdrop. If you go to YouTube, it looks like perfect, pretty much. It should always, anyway. And right now, if you were on YouTube with us, you'd see the story I'm reading. It's literally right beside me. Everything I'm reading is on the screen. I don't read these stories up front. This is all cold read. So when you're seeing this, don't be like, oh, Mark read this and he prepped. I don't prep. Okay? There's no such thing as prepping for the Renaissance Man Show. We show up and we live in the moment. The moment is where everything happens in life. Nothing else happens outside of this second. It's either history or it's a potential future. But this is real, right here, right now. So when we come here and we start talking about the real estate market, we start talking about our souls, that is the only thing that matters, guys. And that's why I want to connect with you every day. That's why I will never leave you a day. There will never be a day you're like, oh, Mark, I guess he stopped the streak. No, it's 1,327 days in a row today, and we're just getting going. Think about how I've shown up for 1,327 days in a row to 5 people, to 7 people. Just start thinking about what happens when 10 to 15,000 people are joining me on a daily basis. This freaking thing is just getting started. Spread the word, smack the screen, and let's get going. Here we go. To this perspective, cancellations were at 15% in June 2022 and 12.5% in July 2021. In fact, 16.1% was the highest cancellation rate since early 2020, when the CV19 outbreak brought real estate transactions to a near dead stop. What's behind the sudden change in home buying behavior? Let's take a look. Don't miss. Mitt Romney says billionaire tax will trigger demand for these 2 physical assets. Get in now before the super rich swarm. You could be the landlord of Walmart, Whole Foods, and Kroger and collect fat grocery store anchored income on quarterly. What is this? Warren Buffett likes these 2 investment opportunities. Okay, well, what are they? Why are they giving us a lead to some other freaking story? Do you guys see this? They're sending us to different stories right now, right in the middle of the story. This is one line into the story. They're like, hey, don't miss. Mitt Romney says billionaire tax. Okay, so you want me to change and go and see the billionaire tax with Mitt Romney, who's a freaking, I can't stand Mitt Romney. I've liked him for a while when he was running, and then he freaking got destroyed by Obama in the second debate. But he was so great that first debate. And then he turned into this freaking Democrat the last couple. I don't even know what happened to Mitt Romney. But the landlord of Walmart, that's cool. Well, maybe we'll get into that later. Here we go. We're going to skip past them trying to get us away from our story here, Joanne. What's that, Joe? No, Joanne, I can hear your wheeze loud and clear. Anyway, less competition. You've probably heard of some house in your neighborhood getting sold for well over its asking price because of multiple offers. Well, there are competing offers. People don't want deals to slip away. But when there's no competition, things work differently. Homes are sitting on the market longer now, so buyers realize they have more options and more room to negotiate. Heather Curiaya. I didn't do that one very well, Joanne. What's that? No, I know, Joanne. You can go to Facebook and see sounds like. Maybe you should do that instead of criticizing me. Redfin real estate agent in Jacksonville, Florida. They're asking for repairs, concessions, and contingencies. And if sellers say no, they're backing out and moving on because they're confident they can find something better. Higher interest rates make housing less affordable. To tame spiking inflation, the Fed is tightening aggressively. In June, it raised benchmark interest rates by 75 basis points, marking the largest rate hike since 1994. In July, the Fed announced another 75 basis point rate increase, bringing the federal funds rate to the range of 2.25% to 2.5%. Let's see what this says. This may actually say exactly what I was about to tell you. While it's yet to be seen how effective rate hikes can cool down raging inflation, higher interest rates mean cooler or higher costs of borrowing. Not good news if you have a mortgage. See, this is where this freaking a-hole gets us wrong here. You could have flipped the script right now. Who's this freaking writer? Who's the journalist here? Jing Pan! Friggin' Jing Pan over here, guys. Jing Pan, you missed it. You had a friggin' fastball down the middle. You had the bat the size of Mike Piazza's head. All you had to do is swing it and you're going to hit the ball, Piazza head, you're coming. Ben Affleck head is a better one, because that head, you're hitting freaking anything. You could throw a ping pong ball, and you could be in the stands. You swing a freaking Ben Affleck head, you're hitting it out of the park. Okay. So this is where Jing Pan got the freaking thing and just decided to throw it down the toilet and flush it. Here we go. So Joanne, what do I mean by that? No, Joanne, freaking pipe it down on the wheezing. So the rates, let's talk about this real quick. They did go up 75 basis points in June, and that really destroyed our market, theoretically. Because what happened is we went up to 5.82%, at least that's where I am in this part of the country. 5.82% in June. That's massive. All of a sudden, people are freaking out because they know there's another rate hike coming up in July. So when they were at 5.82%, they're freaking out knowing there's another 0.75 coming in July. So they freaking go out and bidding. They're bidding like crazy from June through the end of July. They're going to beat that next rate hike. Get in there for the red. Do you guys know right this second, it is cheaper to get your mortgage than it was in April. Because they already built this hike into the mortgages for real estate. And when we had Bill Krasnor on the other day, he explained this. He said, what happens is they already built it in. So now we're actually receding while all these rate hikes are going on with the Fed. The real estate rates are coming down. How does that even make sense? Because we're tied to the 10-year bond. We're not tied to the Fed that way. It's more to the bond, the 10-year bond. So I didn't realize that. But when this freaking Jing Pan over here is telling us, well, you're a buyer, you have more buying power today than you did in June. It's August. You have more buying power today than you June, Jing Pan. What the frig? What's that? No, Joanne, you could date him, I guess, but like, he's not very good at his job. She goes, maybe he's cute. I don't know. Maybe he is cute, Joanne. Look him up on Insta. Fine. She wants me to look him up. What are we doing here? I'm just trying to do a show, and now I got Joanne looking up Jing Pan. Journalist. We're doing it. You guys want to see too? I know. It's like everybody wants to do it. Jing Pan, here we go. Money-wise. Let's see a photo of Jing Pan. Yep, Joanne, he's very handsome. Very handsome. I'm going to send him a note and see if he'll go on a date with you. Let's do it. Ready? Nah, we'll do it later. I don't want to in the middle of the show take away from the real estate segment to email Jing Pan. I'm going to do it later though, Joanne. Love Connection. I'm thinking maybe we have a new show here. Renaissance Man, Love Connections with Jing Pan. And he could come on and, do a terrible job on a news story where he misses the biggest part, But he gets a date out of it at the end. That's the best part about it. All right, someone's trying to call me right in the middle of the show. I'm in the middle of a Renaissance Man at real estate, and you're calling me. I'll call them back in a minute. We got to get through this one, Joanne. What? No, okay, I'll email Jing as soon as we finish. She goes, please don't forget about Jing. I get it. So it's time to buy or sell. Let's see. Real estate moves in cycles. Given the recent developments, could this be an opportune time to take advantage of the market weakness? A new survey suggests that sentiment is not exactly optimistic. Fannie Mae's Home Purchase Sentiment Index registered a reading of 62.8 in June, marking its lowest reading since 2018. Notably, 67% of the respondents believe it's a good time to sell a home, while only 17% think it's a good time to buy a home. Unsurprisingly, mortgage rates are a main concern. Unfavorable mortgage rates have been increasingly cited by consumers as the top reason behind the growing perception that it's a bad time to buy, as well as sell. That's the thing. Why don't you guys talk about the real rates then? Hey, they were higher in June. They're going to be higher most likely in like November. So right now you got a little gap. You've got a gap. Go out there and buy something. That is a good question. Linda said, so what is the difference between payments right now on a $500,000 mortgage? If you were to buy that house at 5.82% and if you were to buy it today, I wonder if my brother Bill Krasnor happens to be on with us right now. And Nima's on. My brother Nima. All right, Nima, we got it. Guys, Nima Rezvan, he's got as well. Nima Rezvan as well is a mortgage master, all right? And he's going to hook us up with this answer right now. So we're talking about $500,000. Nima, I'm sending this to you. $500,000 mortgage on June 23rd or whatever it was at 5.81%. At 5.81. And today's rate. What do we got? Let's see if Nima can can hook us up. And then you guys can check out Nima Loans. And I'm pretty sure he's going to have the answer for us. I'll get that over to you in a second, Linda. Yeah, Sweetie says too, their goal is to get everybody confused. I think that's very true. Nima said, I just got notification you're online and you've been on for 10 minutes. What the beep? You're right, buddy. They don't tell people when I'm on the air. You got to friggin' search for the Renaissance Man Show. So Nima's on with us on Facebook. I think did he come over? No, he's still on Facebook. So hopefully he'll send this over from Facebook. Here we go. No, I just threw it onto the chat, Nima. But if you could just, I think it's 500,000 at 5.81, I think was the highest it was. If you tell me, because you know better. But I think it was 5.81 at its highest in June. And crazy was last week was 4.87. It was almost a full point lower. So right there, you're saving a freaking ridiculous amount. But if it's down it's more than 3/4 of a point since that high, when people were still bidding. That's my point. When it was at its highest, people were throwing over the top multiple bids on property because they thought it's going up to 7. They thought it's going up to 8. It's going up to 10. And it still may. I don't know. The point is, it's actually come down. We went up, this extra boost from 0.75 at the end of July did nothing. It actually brought our rates down. Like, what is that? That doesn't even make any sense. But it does. When you speak to people like Nima and they say, well, that's because we're tied to the bond and not to the, we're not tied to the Fed rate. It's just buyers have this thing in their mind where they say to themselves, the rate just went up 0.75. I'm screwed. I now have to pay a 0.75 more for my mortgage. I thought it too. I'm a realtor. Until I looked at it. It was one of my buyers who told me this. One of my buyers said, we put an offer in on a property right before the rate hike, right before the 0.75 at the end of July. He's like, I got to get my offer in because they're coming up with another 0.75 tomorrow. So we put our offer in on this property. We didn't get it. Didn't work out because it was a multiple bid situation, right? June to July, multiple bids, still people acting stupid. Gotta get that home. 5.81%. They're freaking paying it. So he got his rate locked in for this property and he didn't get it. And I said, we looked at another property the following week, after the rate hike. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm not sure what this does to your rate. This is more expensive property. He goes, it's crazy. I called my mortgage broker earlier just to, let them know that didn't work out. And they said the rates are actually down since the rate hike. And I go, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's weird. He's like, I could actually get a much better rate today than I could last Thursday. And I'm like, hold on. What are we talking about over here? And the reality is they built in that hike up front. So real estate, you guys have to realize this. April is when things got bad for you and people were still paying crazy. April, May, June was the nuts. Now we're back. We're receding. This is a great time to be a buyer. And if you are in a place, here we go. I got it. Nima said rates are in the low 5s today for 500,000 sales price with 20% down, 780 credit score for a conventional 30-year fixed. So even that, we know, okay, so they're in the low 5s. It's still going to be about 0.6 lower than the high because it was 5.81. It's $157 difference. That's per month, guys. So you're talking about $1,500 per year, $1,570 per year if you're just looking at the difference between June and today. I mean, that's money. $1,500 a year is something. I think if we looked at it when it was a full point, it would have been a fair amount more, but still, it's still better today than it was in June when people were overpaying, and that's the point. The point is, don't get so nervous because of what you're hearing from freaking people like Jing Pan, because they're not getting it right. Jing Pan should have came out here and said, guys, rates are really bad and your buying power was totally at its lowest and at its most strained. The most strenuous time this year for your rate was in April, May, and June. Right now, this is actually a good time. There's a window here. Get out there and buy because the rates will eventually go up higher. So you missed it, Jing. You missed it. But we're still going to try to hook you up with Joanne. She's looking for a date, So this is a quick one we're going to get through. Why did one of history's greatest tech investors just give $350 million to a real estate startup headed by a disgraced WeWork founder, Adam Neumann? WeWork's famous implosion might seem like a PR nightmare that would be impossible for an executive to recover from, spawning both a TV series and documentary that chronicled the office leasing company's failure. On Monday, that assumption proved false when billionaire Mark Andreessen announced his plans for a major investment in Flow, a new real estate company by WeWork founder Adam Neumann. The investment is said to be worth $350 million, according to reporting by New York Times, and represents the largest single investment that Andreessen's venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz has ever made. The billionaire's investment history includes early stakes in tech giants like Facebook, Meta, Twitter, and Skype, which is what we had open here. I think we have Zoom open, meaning that his support of Flow has serious weight. The latest investment set Flow's valuation at over $1 billion. Look, Dr. Evil. WeWork collapsed in 2009, falling in value from over $40 billion to $4 billion. That's pretty crazy. Hold on a second. I'm missing. Yeah. David said that it's a lot of money. Better than 70s. Yes, you know what? That's the truth too. Our rates, even now at the fives, this is traditionally in the history of mortgages, it's one of the lowest times. We just are so, desensitized to this thing. We had twos and threes. There was a period of time where it was like high twos, and like people are kicking themselves. Obviously, they didn't buy something then, but and people were refinancing in the high twos, and that was the time. Now that'll never come back. To go start looking like, you can never go back. It's never going to come back. But what we can do is look at the moment we're in and say, how bad is it truly? And right now, it's not. I mean, it's bad because the government is destroying our country with the amount of money. There's $6.9 trillion was spent in the last 3 years. That's on Trump and Biden. $6.9 trillion. And by the way, this current administration is only 18 months through their first term. Hopefully it's only one term because they're freaking destroying our country. And I don't know where you stand. I'm just saying you got to be a moron if you think that things are going well with our government right now. They're like bleeding money, inflation. Afghanistan was a complete disaster. And I love how people are like, oh, well, but it was Trump's plan. It would have been carried out and executed differently. Yeah, the plan wasn't to, in 5 days, rip people out of the country and leave people there. There's a different plan in place. But they weren't there to bring that plan to fruition. Also, find it interesting that they did 29 executive orders day one, but we're going to leave that one thing. Why? Because they knew it was going to be an S show, and they wanted to be able to drop it on Trump's shoulders. Like, it was Trump's thing. No, you friggin' morons. You're the ones there, okay? It's you. You have the opportunity to either execute something or adjust it. Oh, well, Trump did it. Oh, so wait a second. You actually trust something he did now? Everything else you canceled day one, but you trust something? Oh, because Trump... Freaking morons. No accountability whatsoever, right? Okay, so you're the one in the Oval. You're the one running the country. And all of a sudden we trust Trump on this thing. You canceled everything day one, including our pipeline. Which, by the way, a year and a half later, you said, we canceled the Russian pipeline, or we shut it down because when you shut down a country's pipeline, you hurt that country. You just told us that you hurt our country day one? It just took you a year and a half to tell us, but you just told us a year and a half later that you hurt our country day one. Because you just said when you shut down a country's pipeline, you hurt that country. Okay. America first, right? Build back what? Never? Is that what it is? Oh no, look, we just spent $739 billion so we can build back better. Okay. Adam Newman, back to him. So I don't know why this guy's getting another shot after he destroyed WeWork, but he's getting it. He's getting it. Oh, crazy stuff, guys. So look, this is just a real estate review. Of course. Well, that's the truth also. I was talking about day one, they shut down the XL, which is like 10%, but you complete something that started that you spent, and there's 40,000 jobs tied to, instead of sending it back to Europe. But when Russia was going to war with Ukraine, they shut down Russia's pipeline. And one of their stupid morons who speaks clearly very well came out and said, yeah, well, we shut down Russia's pipeline, and when you shut down a country's pipeline, you hurt that country. Okay. We hurt Russia by shutting down their pipeline, they were saying. And I'm like, okay, so basically stopping our production means you hurt our country. And they don't tell you that. They're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But like I said, the thing I have a problem with is if you either have a problem with everything a guy does or you don't. They seem to hate everything the guy does, but then they're saying, whoa, he set up these things for us to do, so it's on him. No, you didn't trust anything he did, so when it's on you and you got the reins, you change it all. Oh, well, Trump had this thing set up for August of, so let's follow that one thing Trump did. Everything else we ripped down. How many executive orders have been signed to date? Anything that he did prior, they ripped down. But no, that one thing, because they knew they couldn't do it properly, and then they did what they did, which is an S show. And you left lives, American, connections, and I don't even understand how the media gives the pass they do to these people. And I always go back to imagine for 1 second if you had Don Jr., Eric, you had Ivanka, and you had Hunter Trump. Imagine if Hunter wasn't Hunter Biden, he was Hunter Trump. Imagine if all the stuff that actually came out about this guy was his name was Trump. Just you could be as politically divided as you want to be. If you could actually look in the mirror and say, it would be the same thing. He'd be treated the same way if he was Hunter Trump as he's being treated right now as Hunter Biden. If you could really say that, you got some questions to ask your soul, because this is not right. This is not right. You've not seen any of the stuff that's going on with the pictures of that guy with younger girls and the crack and all that stuff. And if you think about how many people Biden specifically put in jail because of his crackdown in the drug law in 1994, I believe it was, where if you had a freaking, like a granule of crack, you went to jail for 10 years. It's crazy stuff. Trying to clean up those inner cities, you know? But Cracky McGee had like a freaking pound, and nobody gives a crap. I think they're doing some sort of investigation apparently, but I just feel like the media just not talk about that. They don't talk about the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff. It's just like, okay, so we're supposed to stay here, stay distracted by Johnny and Amber. By the way, I made a freaking movie about it because it was a distraction. I got caught up in it too. I thought it was hilarious. She's a moron. He's cool. You know, he's a musician. I love the guy. I think he's obviously did a lot of stupid stuff too, and he's a little bit of a creeper. But he's an eccentric artist. But she's a freaking wackadoo. That one's a wackadoo. And we did a funny movie out of it. But the reality is, I would have made a funny movie about the Ghislaine Maxwell thing if they let us see it. If it was anywhere, but you don't see it. What about all those people on that list that went to that island and that did really, really disgusting things with kids? No, we're not going to look at that one. We can't do that. You know, Bill Clinton's name's in there. Barack Obama. You can't do that. No. It's like, yeah, Biden, they have every excuse in the world. You know, and it's so true, David. Like, why can't we just get some accountability? Look, I got it wrong. Look, come on, man. He's up there 9 months ago. Look, come on, man. If inflation continues to rise, it'll be on my policies. Yeah. Huh. Oh, we'll have to see. Well, now we're here 9 months later. We're friggin' not doing well. So your policies are crap. But what does the media do? Just like Sleep Sofa Joe. They're napping it. They're napping it till the next freaking election cycle, where they'll hit racism again, and they'll call Trump a bigot, and they'll raid his, you know, his offices in order to guilty until proven innocent. That's what it is in 2022. It's not innocent until proven guilty. It's guilty by your social media peers until proven innocent. And it's sad. It's sad. But that's why this is all done. It's a charade, you know? Yeah, there's probably stuff there that they needed to go and get, but you didn't have to do it that way. They did it because they needed this complete insanity that's going on. Everyone's talking about the raid and what's going on. What did Trump do wrong? And then what's going on? Oh, we have an election in 2.5 months, Joanne? It's not intentional. Right before the last election, they did this. 3 months before. Bombshell. Oh, Trump said this. He did this. He touched some girl and he did this. It's always 3 months before. I have to say this, though. I personally think that the Democrats are always pulling the trigger too soon. Last time around, or for Trump, 2016, I was like, they dropped that story too soon. That whole story about the Billy Bush thing should have come out a week and a half before the election. They dropped it 3 months before, and all of a sudden it kind of lost its steam right before the election. Okay. Last time around 2020, same thing. You had the riots. All the riots took place 3 months before the election, and Trump couldn't control the country, and that's fine to go and burn down cities, but you know, you can't peacefully protest if you support, you know, the former administration or anything like that. It's really very, very fair. The hypocrisy in this country is really nice. It's just weird. They were literally burning cities, and they were like, no, we're gonna let them do that. That's fine. It's COVID. So wait, during COVID, everybody had to stay in their house, but you could go burn buildings and riot and steal and literally just go and break glass and go and steal TVs out of stores. That's fine. You know, looting and rioting, that's fine. But I know you're going to go down and have your voices be peacefully heard. You're going to peacefully protest down at the Capitol. That is probably the most inflammatory language I've ever heard in my life. I know you're going to go and peacefully protest. Have your voices be peacefully heard at the Capitol. I don't think I've ever been more inspired to storm the Capitol. You know what I mean? Then when that president came up there and said, I know you're going to have your voices be peacefully heard, you know, when you go down to the Capitol. No, but it's what he said the week before. It's what he said the month before. Nobody wants to look at the times when Bernie Sanders, we got to fight like hell. Bernie freaking Sanders, Joe Biden, he wanted to punch Donald Trump in the face. Like, these people are all hypocrites. They all said worse. I got it all in the Donald Trump show. Go watch. There's 36 episodes. They're all freaking crazy hilarious. There's no swearing. It's Donald Trump doing commentary of everything bad that Biden never did. This is why I can't break through, guys. Every time I'm in a normal show, I freaking start talking. What am I doing? Listen, I don't want to offend anybody. If you like Joe Biden, I love you. I'm good, you know. I think we need someone better than this guy or the last guy. I'm just saying that honestly. I don't think we need anybody in their 80s anymore running this country. We need somebody in their 50s. We need somebody who's got a freaking pulse for what's actually going on, and it doesn't have so much focus on their wallet. The big guy has been focused on his wallet for 50, 60 years, guys. That's the only reason he's been why do we have senators and people that are in office for 50 years? And after they did nothing, they become president and do nothing and lose their mind. And we're just like, fine, he's okay. Let me shake Schumer's hand. Hey, let me shake Schumer's hand again. Huh, what are we doing? Come on, man. It kills me. It kills me. How about somebody with a heart? Somebody who wants to see this country grow and that will be here for a couple more generations and not they have a couple years left. How much time does Donald Trump or Joe Biden have left? They're in the later stages, later months or years of their lives. And we're going to give them all that power? Why? They're not going to do anything for this. I mean, look, even if you love Donald Trump, him in office, just more division. Joe Biden in office, division. He came in saying he's going to bring this country together. He's done nothing but divide this country since he got in office. He just consistently comes out and points fingers at the other side of the aisle. Instead of saying, guys, we need to come together. Come on, man. He doesn't say any of that. He's like, look, the former president, he had to go to the hospital. I didn't have to do that. I got beady eyes now. I'm Sleep Sofa Joe. And it's like, what is going on? Why can't we get along? We need a president who comes in there and says, I don't care if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican. You're a freaking American. Let's come together and let's talk about things common sense. Let's have some common sense conversations here. If you come in and you start talking about off the freaking reservation stuff, we're kicking you out. You're not even allowed in the conversation. I'm sorry, that small minority that has complete control over our country right now doesn't even have a voice in the real world. There's 10 people. You let them change the narrative in the freaking country. 30 years ago, they'd say, no, I'm sorry, there's 50 million people, and this is the consensus. No, but there's 100 people that are, oh, let's change it all for those 100. That's not a joke. That's freaking real. That's real. Everything's been changing for the minority instead of allowing the masses to rule this world the way it's been ruled for thousands of years. Now, clearly we've done a lot wrong, but that's why you don't cancel history. You embrace it and you learn from it. We've learned from all the wrong we've done in life, haven't we? But you can't learn if you decide to disappear it. So, remember that, okay? Yes, Kill It says, amen, brother. No more manufactured division. I'm over it. Divided we fall, united we stand is right, David. Love you, bud. Yeah. And I didn't say his name, Sweetie Marie, but I honestly think that Ron DeSantis would be an amazing president. And I'll tell you, it's not because I'm a Republican. It's because here was a guy who saw what was going on during the pandemic and said, I could see through all your freaking lies. How is it that a guy who's not a scientist, who has a variety show and live every day, doesn't watch the fake news, National Enquirer, mainstream media, was able to see through all the lies? How? How was I able to see through all the lies? Oh, well, you don't have a degree. No, but I listened to the people that were canceled. I listened to the people that were suppressed. When you were listening to the people that were telling you, look, follow the science. Dr. Weasel Frauci. Dr. Weasel Frauci? Really? I mean, the guy who told you every 3 weeks something different? That's not misinformation? No. The misinformation is the skeptics who said the same thing for friggin' 2 years until all the friggin' a-holes who called us misinformation decide to say the thing we said for 2 years actually is the truth. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Ukraine. Freaking clip that out. Pop that on freaking TikTok. Right? What are we talking about here? For 2 years, they killed my show. They pulled down episodes for saying words. And now 2 years later, they're like, oh yeah, no, all that stuff that people like Mark were saying, yep, well, that's true, but it's not a big deal. We said it the whole time. You guys are all misinformation. What are we talking about? We told you the whole time that it wouldn't stop anything. And it's just going to be better if you get it. Like, you're not going to get severe symptoms. Okay, whatever, dude. Dr. Fleming in April of 2020 said, this isn't going to do a thing, Mark. Same people are going to die whether they get a vaxaroo or not. What do you mean, Dr. Fleming? Well, if you think about it this way, it takes 3 to 4 days for antibodies to start to create themselves from any vax. Okay, so what are you saying? Thrombosis starts to take place by then, Mark. It does? Yeah, it does. So is that why people who are fully bugabooed are getting the cove and some of them are dying? I think so. So Frankenstein science, PSYOP, whatever you want to call it. I call it PSYOP. That's all it was. And we knew it was. I mean, the people who are willing to look at the real data and say, hold on. You're not supposed to see 50,000 people die from taking something, you know what I mean? In order to protect them from something else. And then to find out you're not protected from it, you still got it. Every single person that I know that went and followed the PSYOP got cove. Every single one. That's messed up. When we were told from the guy who's there at the Oval now, and even I don't know what Trumper said, because I don't think we really had the vaxaroo at that time. It did one. Joe, 4 days after Trump lost, they announced that the vaxaroo was ready. That was because of Trump, by the way, but nobody wants to give him credit. But he freaking pushed. I don't want to give him credit either, because it's crap. It's the worst vaxaroo in history. Okay? I got mad when I hear him telling people to take it. Like, what are you, friggin' moron? The thing doesn't work. Yeah, look, you should go get it. I'm very proud. We saved billions and billions and trillions of lives. You didn't save any friggin' lives. If you didn't have anything and we let this run its course, we'd be in the same position. Same deaths. Why do I say that? Because everyone's getting it still. Oh, but they ain't getting it because they got less symptoms. Well, then why is it that one of my very good friends decided not to? Husband had to. Husband had worse symptoms than her. Why? And he's in great shape. There's no reason. He's in great shape. Why? It's supposed to be that when you got your thing that you don't have symptoms. I mean, you have very little symptoms. There's so much. My buddy had really bad symptoms. He had like 4 days of flu, like really 102 plus fever. He felt like crap. My friend that decided not to trust the PSYOP, she didn't have the flu. No, she just had the not feeling well and, like the other stuff, tired, but not the flu thing, just the tired thing. And it's like, you could say whatever you want. Everybody's different. Just like we know that everybody handles that different too. So I don't know. I wanted it to be clear to people. Hey now, yeah, I guess you could say I'm talking to the wall. I wanted it to be clear from the beginning though, that I'm fine with anybody making the decisions they want to make for their own body. And I thought it was interesting how all of a sudden that wasn't cool for 2 years. Like, we've gone back to that again since Roe v. Wade became a topic, but, as far as I remember, it was always my body, my choice. I could do what I want with my body. I could do what I want. I could either decide to get the bugaboo or I could decide that I don't want to based on my personal beliefs or how I believe it will affect me. My reason for not doing it is I felt like I'm okay today. And I've seen some people get like freaking Bell's palsy, guys. And sometimes it doesn't go away. And I've seen it happen. I've seen lots of videos of people with half their face and all this weird stuff. And all of a sudden they're shaking. They can never not shake again. And I'm thinking to myself, so I want to take a chance at a side effect like that? When I'm doing a show here every day, my plan is to do a show here every day. I want to take a chance at being out here and just like, hey guys, look, I can't stop moving now because I took this freaking stupid thing that Dr. Weasel Frauchi said safe and effective. No, I'm sorry. I wholeheartedly believe that we need to make the decisions that are right for us. But when you have an intuition and it's telling you something, and you go against that intuition, shame on you. And the worst part about it is when they force you. And like I said, I a while back, I said, I don't mind if you're going to mandate something. You're going to say, hey, look, there's a thing everybody needs because it stops the thing we're all afraid of. You know? And that's what they tried at first. And I was like, no freaking way. This isn't going to stop a freaking thing. And all of a sudden we let 6 months go by, 8 months go by. It didn't stop a freaking thing. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, it doesn't stop a thing, but your symptoms are less. Are they? So how about those people who, the 99.7 who got it, and then some of them still have long COVID, which isn't good, but they got it and they didn't die. The 99.7%. What about those people? Oh, well, it's because a lot of them got their bugaboo. Yeah, but they all got the cove. They all got the cove. Yes! Pissed Off said it would have been so much worse. Yeah, that is the freaking line. That is totally the line that people throw out there. And even, when the First Lady and Sleepy Poo and all these people get it, they're like, look, but I'm fully bugabooed. I'm thankful for my vaxaroos. When Schumer got it, he's thankful that he has his vaccinations because he was okay. Look, I'm thankful that it would have been so much worse if I didn't have my bugaboo. Oh, my goodness. Look, all I could say is this. On Christmas, I went to see family, and everybody there had their vaccinations, and they're all there proud of the fact that they trusted the science. And I said, look, I'm still here. I know you guys think I'm an a-hole because I've been here telling you to not do what they tell you and to freaking trust your heart and soul and trust the freaking immune system that the Lord gave you. You guys think I'm a jerk for that. I get it. But we're gonna come here for Christmas and we're gonna wear our masks. You're going to wear your mask at Christmas? Yeah, wear our masks. You guys are all bugabooed. You're walking around without masks. At the time, this was last Christmas when people were still freaking out, 2021. And we said, we're going to go. We're unbugabooed. My whole family of 5. We're unbugabooed. I'm not putting any freaking thing from Dr. Weasel Fauci in my freaking my 14, 12, or my 7-year-old. You could go pound sand, Dr. Weasel Fauci. Okay. And so the 5 of us go to this Christmas dinner and we have our masks on. They're all bugabooed, maskless, running around, eating. I had to take my mask down to eat. So did my wife. So did the kids. My kids were sitting right next to cousins and everybody else. In fact, all of them were standing around. The food was in the middle, right where my kids were sitting. They happen to put all the food right in front of my kids. So with them, while they have their masks down and they're eating, they're all filling their plates, keep coming back and filling their plates unmasked. We get a call a couple days later. Well, actually, I didn't get a call, but I found out a couple days later that one of them had the SIV. They didn't tell us. That was another interesting thing. But didn't tell us. I thought there was this whole tracing thing. You should let people know you're around them just in case, hey, by the way, we have it. Just, I had to find out through someone else that there was cove in the house. And all of a sudden, every freaking person had the cove, except for the 5 people that wore masks and that were unbugabooed. And I start saying to myself, I wasn't fully masked that whole time. I had my mask down. I took it off while I was eating. I was like, whatever, everybody's fine. They got their bugaboos. They seems to be working fine for them. And thank goodness, knock on wood, we're here on August 19th, 2022, and still fighting back against the lies. Not that the thing's not real. It's real, guys. The SIV is real. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying that the thing they made is freaking crap. It's made of crap. I don't even know what the hell it's made of. I've seen some weird videos of strands in the blood now from people doing this. It's like, I'm sorry, no. Like, you don't... Nobody really gave a crap about this whole mRNA thing either, right? They're like, oh, it's fine. It's just the next stage. There's a really great video of the guy from GlaxoSmithKline. He's like, if we had done this before the pandemic, the 95 percentile, nobody would ever put the genetic modification in their body. But now it's like they welcome it. And we're thankful for the pandemic because now the whole world will take the mRNA vaccine. It's like, wow, this guy just came out and said what you're not supposed to say in public, and that nobody would have taken this. You're like, what, you want me to put an experimental medicazione in my body? No, I'm sorry. Thank goodness. I have to say, Is it really? Deb said that bells is a common side effect of nearly every bugaboo. Well, okay. Deb says she disagrees with my narrative that the virus mutates. People have no immunity to a new virus. They have been working on tech for this type of vax for 20 years. I understand that they've been working on the tech itself, but it had never been used specifically in humans before. And so that, I think, is, you're literally the guinea pig. So we are guinea pigs. And then outside of that, the mutations, that is the thing that I was thinking about from the very beginning. I'm like, why are we freaking out? Let this thing mutate, because as it mutates, it's going to get weaker. It may get more contagious, but it's not going to stay stronger. It has to lose some of its strength as it continues to move through the population. It doesn't want to kill its host. It wants to continue to spread. So it gets smarter, just like everything else. So I think we're at a really great position right now, where if you get it, it's the flu. They just changed the CDC guidelines to say, if you get it, it's the flu. Look at all the information they say. No more social distancing. You could be around someone who has it. You don't need to go and stay away from people anymore. And if you get it, 5 days and you're back in the game. 5 days. So it's the flu. So I agree about the fact that they worked on it for a very long time, but I still have no interest in taking something that Bill Gates and Dr. Weasel Fauci are a part of. That guy too, the thing he did in the 80s with the AIDS epidemic that they created, and the AZT thing was a disaster. And these people, you know what they do? They move the pieces on the board before they know what the follow-up is. They have no idea what the outcome will be, and they just move the pieces on the board. Oh, we're gonna do this. We need to get that bugaboo out there. Well, let's start a pandemic. Let's drop this freaking thing out in China. I don't know what happened, but the point is this. I am not anti-vaxxeroo. I've had every one except for this one. My kids are not anti-vaxxeroo. They have had every single one but this one. This is not normal. It takes 7 to 10 years to go through all of the processes and see what's safe and effective. When these people had the nerve to come out months in and say, it's been proven to be safe and effective, it's a freaking lie. It's the biggest lie of them all. That was where it pissed me off beyond all. For them to have the nerve to go out and lie to the American people and say, it's safe and effective. They have no way to tell. They'd say it's safe for pregnant people to take. Dr. Weasel Fauci came out and said, it's safe for pregnant women to take the bugaboo. Did you guys see how many people had miscarriages from having the bugaboo? And there's lots of stuff that took place beyond. Weird things took place. People who got themselves bugabooed while they were pregnant in the third trimester, that type of stuff. So my biggest takeaway is this. From the very beginning, what I've been skeptical about has not changed. Me, the other people of the world who were all held down by their freaking neck for the last 3 years, nobody changed their narrative. It's been the same the whole time. This isn't right. It's not safe. It's not effective. And we're right. It's not safe and it's not effective. What does the word effective mean? I just want to see what the definition of effective is. Let's see what effective means. Effective, successful in producing a desired or intended result. Successful in producing a desired or intended result. What it was is effective in their narrative of getting people to take something that didn't work, but it wasn't successful in producing the desired result, which was to stop CV. The desired result was, if everybody gets the bugaboo, we can stop CV. Not even close. Safe? You can look at the data. You can determine what you think is safe. 50,000 people, 30,000 people, that VAERS, that's still safe to you. Based on the 7 billion, 4 billion people, 50,000 is a relatively small. Fuck you. You kidding me, dude? You guys are out of your minds. Nobody should be threatened to lose their life or their job for taking something that's not effective. Let's see. The second definition is fulfilling a specified function. In fact, though not formally acknowledged as such. Okay. So it does nothing. Oh, you get lesser symptoms. No, everybody gets COVID still from when they take your stupid freaking thing, Dr. Weasel Fauci. That's not effective. That's freaking the worst thing that you could ever produce. It's something that almost creates more infections. Why is it that it seems like the people who got themselves bugabooed are all infected? They're the super spreaders. Woo, good, yay, good. Let's blame it on the unbugabooed. The unbugabooed who, what are we talking about? It's like, oh, you're the threat. Right, my son was disinvited to parties throughout the pandemic because he wasn't bugabooed. What's the good? What's the good? What does that card do? You walked in with a card, but you're the super spreader. Oh, but I got my card. You can't get in without your card. That guy has his card. You mean the guy over there is sneezing and coughing and just brought COVID, but he's got his card? That was good. That was a really great way to set up your, our guidelines are this. You have a card, you're good to go. Wait, but we heard that when you have a card, you could still have the COVID. I mean, I see people like there were, totally bugabooed and they have the COVID. Like, no, but if you get your card, that protects you from, spreading it. You could have the COVID, but if you got the card, you don't spread it. Yeah, no, as a Dr. Fauci thing. Like, you didn't hear about that one? When you go on CDC's website, it says it right on the top. If you got the COVID, but you're holding your card in your hand, like this weird, like, alien shield goes up, and it blocks the COVID from going to other people. It's pretty cool. I'd get it. I would get that one. The card bugaboo is what that one is. It's the shield. I agree. Deb says you can't be 100% effective while dealing with the time crisis, but they shouldn't go out there and tell people that something's safe and effective when they know, 100% know that it's not. They knew they didn't have the data to say it was, so they lied intentionally to get people to take the thing. And that to me is freaking criminal. That is criminal. And again, it's not like we're looking back now, like 2 years later, and like, what a successful run this was. And they created this great thing and it stopped this COVID thing in its tracks. We have more pandemics now, guys. We have more pandemics. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? We got monkeypox. Polio's back. You guys don't think this has anything to do with the freaking Frankenstein science they did over the last couple of years? We had nothing for 100 years. Now all of a sudden, we got more pandemics. And they say it's just the beginning. When you destroy your immune system, get ready for all kinds of crazy stuff to start surfacing, like polio again, and like freaking monkeypox. And look, I don't know what happens with monkeypox. I don't. I heard it first. If you're banging dudes and you're a dude, then you got a problem. You may get monkeypox. But it's spreading to people now. Dogs are getting it from people. So I don't know. I can tell you one thing. You could freaking never find me in a line to go get a monkeypox vaxaroo. And that's probably been around for a very long time. So it is probably safe and effective, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure that's not mRNA. It's not some sort of weird thing they just threw into the human population to see how it goes. That's what they did. Like, let's just see how it goes. Like my freaking car. I talk about this a lot. First series. Are we going to cut this show out? First series, my car, brand new. I got the Ford Mach-E. I love that car. It died for 2 months, guys. It died for 2 months. And guess what Ford would say to me? No, we don't know how to fix it. It's the first series. We've never had this. We've never had an electric car before. You got modules in there. We don't know how to do that. Good luck, buddy. And that's the way they treated this. Okay, look, we have modules. We're putting modules into people. We've never done that before. We don't even know how to change them. Who cares? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it goes well. It didn't. I just wonder why, Deb, why didn't they create normal vaxaroos for this? Take the virus and sequence it, and you freaking make the old school, the virus they've been doing for hundreds of years that's effective, that actually works. Why didn't they do that? I think the bigger thing is that they worked off of a freaking spike protein. That's all they had. The last I heard, I don't even think they still have the full virus. They still have never seen the entire genetic sequence. It's just a spike protein, which actually is the dangerous part of the virus, I hear. Anyway, guys, I don't know how we got into this. Didn't mean to push people away if I did. But I will tell you this. Opinions need to be expressed. And if yours is different, I value that. Don't stop speaking your mind. And don't pull people down for speaking their mind. This is okay. 2022, we should be allowed to express self. And if our opinions are different, just say, hey, I don't agree, but I will fight like hell to let you speak your mind. And that's what I hope. That's what I'll continue to do here daily, is to allow my soul to breathe. So until tonight, when we do cover song night at 10:30, about 11 hours from now, guys, don't miss it. If you have some covers, shoot me notes. You can go to the last night's feed and say, hey, play me Tom Petty, whatever, and throw a bunch of songs in, and I will do it for you. Okay, guys? And make sure if you haven't yet, YouTube the show. Okay, give me a subscribe over there. I'll see you guys in about 11 hours. Until then, let's see. We got Deb, Jennifer Collins, Kathleen Danford, Trish Killian, Sweetie Marie, Pissed Off Marine, and Barbara Bramulett. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. And I can't wait till we do it all over later on. Until then, it's Mark Pires. And it's Renaissance Man. I love you guys. I'll see you later. You got to go away. See you later, fam.